Hey guys, what's up? Hopefully this is the last video I have to make about this, but I will probably have to make another one. So this is how to use the Apollo 2 trading bot. I made one for my Saturn bot. Now I want to make one for my Apollo bot so everyone knows how to use it. And if you like this, you can buy the Apollo bot. You can buy the Apollo bot probably by August 30th. So if it's after August 30th, 2020, the bot is for sale on my website. It is $5 a month for the base version, and that just covers the base, so it tracks SMA lines and it does all its calculations. But you're probably going to want to get the more advanced one because it uses news data and smart calculations, support and resistance calculations. Just everything in general is a lot better than the first one, and that's $19.99 a month. And the reason why I say that is because in one trade you can literally make that in a month, and there's like 6 trades pretty much already. So this week, and I already did that. Like actually, 1/4 way through the first trade that I made this week, I could have paid for the bot. So that's how I know it's not that bad. Now the hardest part is, all right, so let's get into it. First, I want to show you really quickly what it'll look like. So if you have the base version, you're not going to have this piece. You're not going to have the thinking bot, and you're not going to have the support and resistance bot. And you're going to get the Apollo bot, but you're not going to have that turned on, and support resistance calculation. So this is basically what it would look like trading TQQ on the 45-minute chart. I mean, it still does pretty well, but it kind of gets you in more above everything, and it kind of has worse sells, and it jumps around a lot. But how you use this is you buy right after the first candle. So look at right here. You can see there's a buy, and then so this will flash. It'll flash green, and it'll flash. Basically, buy this next candle, because there's a glitch in TradingView and it really screws it up. And yeah, it really just screws it up in general. That it'll just, I called them about this, they don't know what's going on, but there's a glitch where it doesn't do this and it flashes on and off until it's not filled. But then you're going to want to buy right here. All right, so that's basic knowledge. But if you bought any other indicator or whatever, bots, my scripts, Apollo 2, bot thinking. Let's still erase that one. Boom. All right. So you can see here that it's a lot smoother than, yeah, it's just a lot smoother than what you would think it is. All right. Wait, hold on. I need the support resistance. Shit, wrong one. Sorry, I should have this all ready to go. Alright, this is what the support and resistance one's going to look like. Alright, so you can see this is the bot's thinking. And I'm going to tell you about this first piece, and then we're going to get into actually how to trade it. Alright, so you can see when it's red in the background, it's bad news. And then when it's green in the background, there's good news. By the way, this bot does not work on inverse ETFs, but you can use it to sell. Alright, but look at it right here, below 30, it swoops below 20, which means that there's a strong push up. Every single time it swoops below 20, there is a very, very strong push up, and you can almost identify that as it's going to be good. All right, so here is a big part of it. You can see that it pushes all the way up, and so every single time they cross or they're angled to each other, it's basically saying there is a point where this point is basically indicating a direction. It indicates a direction change. Now this orange line right here, it indicates the man, the delta plotted on a chart in percentages, all right? Then this blue line is the SMA line, and this is the SMA line plotted in a percentage put on a chart. Then this black line is what the bot thinks about the support and resistance data. So if we just use the delta one overall, you can see it's pretty smooth. You buy below 20, you sell above 80. Pretty simple. But an issue with that is it gets you in at the worst times. So then you got to add more data to it, and that's why you have the other two lines, and you can basically see potential resistance. All right, and then the farther that these lines get apart from each other indicates the strongness of a trend. So if it's looking like this right now, that's a very, very strong trend. So let's look at what happened after hours. All right, so we're at night, started the day at 109, finishing the day at 119. Very, very decent day. Let's see what else. It says it's up 1.2%, but let's see what it actually is up today, because it closed right here. It's actually up 5%, so very, very decent settings, basically. So you can see there, very, very, very good. Strongness of the trend is distance away from the lines. So you can see right here, it really starts to distance itself. Every line starts to distance itself, and then you can see that there's a good upward trend. All right, so then you're gonna want to look at, well, we're gonna cover buying and selling. All right, so the bot is very, very good at smoothing out errors. It's really good at smoothing out errors. But a big part of that is it combines news data, deltas, thetas. There's 6 different types of calculation methods. There's 6 different calculation methods, and all of them are very, very particular, and they all play a very, very certain way. All right, so they all play a very, very certain position in the stock, basically. So, I mean, in this bot. So you can see here that the only reason why it got, look at, why wouldn't you think this is getting up? This is going up right now. It passed this 20 SMA line. By the way, this yellow line is the 20 SMA line. Then it had good news, and it was just spreading apart in the KDJ. I mean, not the KDJ. It's this thinking piece down here is based on the KDJ, but I put in different values and stuff like that. So you can see here, there's delta. Everything is looking like it's opening up. Everything is looking like it's opening up. It's going to be fine. So that's the only reason why I bought and sold here. But if you were smart, you could have just bought and then sold there. But it's basically whatever you want. All right, you don't have to listen to the bot, but it is highly recommended you do. So you can see right here. So here's how you look at the bot. So let's just say you get a buy signal, and you're like, all right, nice. So then you buy on this candle. Then you're like, all right, it's going, and then it sells. But then you need to sell on this second candle, because there's going to be times like this. It's going to say a sell order here, but then the next candle is going to be is not going to be a sell order, and you want to keep that. So this single trade, if you sold right there, that's 14%. But if you sold up here, that's 22%. Sorry, hold on. Sorry. All right. So you can see that's 22%. You're missing out on basically 7%. Would you like to miss out on 7%? No. So you gotta wait for the second candle. You gotta wait for the second candle. All right. You gotta wait for the second candle. All right. All right. Now you see this blue line right here. This is a special line. So this indicates whether it's a strong upward trend. It is basically an SMA, but it combines a little bit of the delta just to smooth it out. Basically, if it is above this line, you don't want to sell at these resistance points. You don't want to sell because it's trading above the line. Why would you do that? They're just little tiny pullbacks. But if it's like this, look at buy, you don't want to wait until this sell right here. No, you want to sell right there. You want to sell right there. Boom, you just made more money than that you did before. Shoot, hold on. I think I put in. Yeah. Shoot. All right. It's fine. And I'll go over that later. So you're gonna want to sell right there. Boom. You made your money and you made your profits. But if it's above the line, like right here, boom. Right here, there's buy signal. You would buy right there, and then you basically have a strong upward push. But you can see here, what I mean when it's trading above, I mean when this candle, shoot, I mean when a candle is no longer touching this blue thick pluses, these blue thick pluses. So like right here, you would have sold. Right here, you would have sold instead of right there. Same with right here. So look at it's fully it's not fully trading because that's a long wick down. What I mean is it is not even touching. The wicks are not touching this this blue line right here. All right? So personally, I like to go over here and then go to styles and then sensitivity, turn that off because it's kind of a nuisance, and then turn off plot 2 because who the heck needs it? I mean, that's just all stuff. I like this color, but you guys can change it to whatever you like. That's the best part of this. So I could just be like, 27% occupancy or whatever. Red, let's go a little bit more. Boom. So now you made it easier to read. It's overall just a better thing to read. And if you want your, let's just say you're using all these decimal points over here. So this would be used on currencies. You can turn this up to 8 and it would become a lot more precise. I mean, you can't see it now because this is an ETF. But if we were trading Bitcoin or something like that, you could be able to see that. So this is like an introduction video, basically. All right, so hidden tips and tricks. Boom, right there. You basically wait till the next candle to buy. Covered that. Don't sell when it's trading above. So like right here, you would not sell there, but right here you would sell because look at there's a solid resistance and it's still touching this blue line. So you would have sold right there. Right here, you would have sold even though it pushed up again, but it does not really matter because that was only a little bit of tiny push. Right here, they're all super easy trades to make. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so right here you can see that basically I'm just going to go over how I traded the past 2 days. So first, I waited till. All right, so basically I'm going to cover two more things. I'm going to cover the rule. I'm going to first cover the how to trade and the rules of it. So what I mean by rules is things that you should follow to get the best returns. All right, so you can see right here, this is the opening candle and it's a buy, and I don't want to wait till here. You wouldn't wait till here. So you hit extended hours. Let's just say all you see is that. All you see is that. It's just a buy signal. You're like, but it's the first candle of the day. So then to see if that buy order is actually a buy order and you can buy on that first candle is you can hit extended hours. And then you can see that at 5:45 a.m. there was a confirmed it. So that means on this opening candle you could have bought. Yep. So on that opening candle, you could have bought right there. And then basically, you could have just been done with it. Boom, sell right there. So let's run through this quickly. So you buy at a decent price, 110. You sell after hours. You don't have to sell after hours, but if you sell within hours, you make 1%, 1.5%. And if you sold after hours, you make 2.45%. So that's what I did yesterday. All right. So, and this is what happened today, and this is what I did today. This is actually the trade that I'm currently in. I got a buy signal. Since that wasn't the first candle of the day, I can't do the extended hours thing, so I turned that off. Boom. Uh, right up there, I bought somewhere at 110. I bought like low 110s. So I bought low 110s. And right now, it's almost at 1. Okay, so let's just leave that right there for now. Let's go to adjust. Let's hit extended. And let's go to right now. Currently, I know it says down. It's kind of weird because I don't know. I guess there's a front and back to it. If I bought at low 110s, 128, and right now I am currently up 7.75% on my current trade. And yeah, I'm just showing you a little bit of how it works. So you can see that then I would turn it off. I don't use it to trade, but I do use it for little information. Like if I want to see how the end of the stock played out, I come down here and it extended hours. Keep auto timescale on, and it'll really help you. All right. So the bot does its best to not screw you. I know how that feels. But the main reason why I'm making this bot is because I used to go home after school and trade. Well, I used to go home, and for about 5 hours of every single night, I would search and search and search for stocks that were in the right buy or that were in the right buy place at the right time. So I would be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. All right. So then all of a sudden I'm like, man, I need to speed up this. I need to not. I don't want to do this anymore because I would literally go home and then I'd trade this. I'd make a list of stocks. I'd buy the stocks the next day, and then a lot of them wouldn't play out right. In fact, I lost a lot of money at first because I was not doing it right. But if you can see here, it does it for me, which is the best piece of that was the best part about it. Um, So if you're thinking about getting it, I highly suggest it. I mean, it really, really freaking helped me. And I know I'm the creator of the bot, but I'm also going to tell you how it works in a second. But stick around for that in a video. But I'm going to basically show these people if you're watching because you have it and you're just learning, it's fine. All right. So let's see if it works. All right, it's still working. All right. So um basically, I'm going to run through my last trades. I bought right on that first candle of the day because I hit extended hours and I saw that the candles were going since 5. That buy signal was there since 5:45. Bought that and I sold it right here and at I sold it right before the market. Wait, shoot, no, I sold it at 15:30. I don't know why military time's on, but I sold it there. So just running through my quick trades, even before my sell signal is there, if it's trading below the blue line, you want to sell at resistance. So as soon as you see this red line right here, sell. So you see the second blue line. Let's just say you're right there. You're like, oh my gosh. Okay, I bought there. And then it's like, all right, all right, all right. And then it hits this red line right here. And you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. So, and you don't want to take a loss. So then you look at extended hours and you see the red line there and you sell at 17:45, whatever time that is. No, wait. What day is that? That's the 27th. No, this is the 27th. Yeah, you would basically sell right there and you would have bought at the very beginning of the day. Yeah, you would have bought at the very, very beginning of the day. And I mean, you can use after hours, but I made the bot so you don't have to use after hours because it's just I made it for school. So I could just look at it and then walk away from it at 2 o'clock or whenever your stock market closes and what time zone you're in. All right, so now that I've basically told you how to trade a little bit, so you don't just buy on the signal buy. You wait for the next candle, and they're like, all right, then I buy because the glitches. Then comes up here, you sell on the red, and now I'm gonna open my Apollo 2. So you wouldn't get this, but styles. So I made styles. So there's a bunch of different styles. Style 1, you basically just copy and paste all that information into the Apollo 2 bot settings, which are right here. And how you do that is you go up to the top left corner, it says Apollo 2 HLC 0.8, and then you hover over that, and then you hit settings. And then the same thing with the support and resistance. Set, you know. All right, so we're going to cover one more thing. What is it? Also, if you want to use candles, use these numbers because if you want to use candles instead of Helsinki Ashi or something, just use these. They are the best, pretty much. They're pretty good, and they keep composure or whatever it's called. Come over here, settings, and how to use rules. Oh man. Okay, how to use. Oh wait. So you're gonna want to read this before you do anything. Rules about using Apollo 2. Buy when it says buy. Buy when the first candle of the market in the morning is already one, and if there's already one in the pre-market. I know I screwed that up really bad. Sell when it tells you to sell. Don't buy or sell in the pre-market. That doesn't mean aftermarket. So you can sell in the pre-market. I mean, you can sell in the aftermarket. You can buy in the aftermarket. I mean, don't buy in the aftermarket. You only sell in the aftermarket. Don't sell in the pre-market or buy in the pre-market. Don't try and outplay the stock market don't try to outplay the market. So don't try to think against the bot. So if the bot is thinking you just got a buy indicator and you think it's going to go bad, don't not trust it. Don't sell it. Because right here, listen, yesterday I bought right here. I was really not thinking that it was going to go. I was really not thinking that it was just going to go down. I was really thinking it was just going to go down. So I bought right here, and I was worried throughout the day. Even though it was an ascending pattern, I was worried for here to here that it was going to close down. Because you know what this is? It's a reverse head and shoulders, or a head and shoulders. And that's a reversal of trend pattern. So you want to just get away from that. Rules. Buy when it says buy. Don't try to outplay the market by looking at indicators like the MACD and stuff. Listen, it comes through. At the weirdest times, it'll come through. It is freaking insane because, I don't know. I know how I did it, but I don't actually know how, I know how it makes, the buy orders and sell orders, but the calculations, they're just so insane. Like, it'll say a buy order on a downtrend. It'll say in buy order on the freaking downtrend, and then right after that, boom, it spikes up. Like, what the heck? So, don't try to outplay it using indicators. Let's just say that the MACD is angled completely down, the RSI is angled completely down, and you get a buy order. And then it spikes up, and you're like, yo, I totally missed that one. Just go with it. When the price action is below the blue line, sell at resistance. So price action is the candles, sell at resistance, and so that's the red lines. You can change that to any color you want, but that's just the red line stock. Rules. When the price action is above the blue line, don't sell at resistance. So you can see right here, it is completely above. You would have sold right here and missed out on all of this until right here. And then you would have missed out on this piece too. And then you would have missed out on this whole piece. So when it's trading above the blue line, you really just want to be careful, you know? Alright, so I gotta go take my dog for a walk for a second. I'll be back in a sec. Sorry, guys. really quickly. I know this is a kind of long video, but please stick with me if you have the bot. You can skip to the end if you don't, if you are just looking to see how it works. I have that all on the website. It's going to be in the description below. All right. So you just got to trust it. All right. In general, if you don't trust it, you don't want the bot. I mean, but you can see how I did it in a minute. So I'm going to get to um, the bot. Basically, I'm going to get to the bot's website now, and I'm going to show you how it works. It's on the home page. Anyone can see how it works. I don't keep it secret because it's it's basic, but it's not basic. All right, it uses basic calculation methods, but it throws like 70 different calculation methods, like very basic ones, but a lot of them in one. So give me a second. All right, guys, I got there. Show you how it works now. If you can't read this, I'm going to read it out to you. How it works. Number one, it calculates most of the support and resistances from the past 100 to 300 days. It's not exact at this, but it works very well. Just to calculate and see where all the support and resistance lines are. Number two, then it calculates the probability, the possibility and probability of them happening, and then estimates it estimates it by the time. Man, I really needed to proofread this. By it basically checks it by the support and resistance line. That piece will be saved in the catch for later. Then it uses 24 different SMA, EMA, and VWAP lines and basically does the same thing with all the different support and resistance lines, saving the cache for later. Then there's three different mathematical calculations that the bot performs: delta, THMA, and HMA. That piece will be saved for later, but basically I'm going to say delta. Delta is calculation method used by hedge funds and people who want to trade options. And THMA is basically the same thing, except it uses news. And HMA is basically a bracket on the outside of THMA of calculating. Man, it's basically a bracket on the outside that's basically saying, hey, don't forget this piece. And it basically throws everything else in the catch in there. Then, after all that, it does some crazy stuff in TradingView. It looks at the news data. It does this by going through basically like a bunch of different news sites, and then it looks for keywords and reads the articles like good earnings and very good quarter and stuff like that. Then it bases it on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being the best, and 5 being the average, and 10 being the worst. Now, if it scores it 10, that means it's really bad. Now, if it thinks it's really good, it's 1. So if it gets an average score of, let's just say 3, it's a good article. Then it means that it's good. Now it does this like 10,000 times, and then boom, you now have data about the news. And basically, if it's between 50,000 and 100,000, that's bad news. And if it's anything lower than that, it is good news. So it basically just tells what the rest to do. Then that piece will be saved in catch for later. Just to check if all the calculations are right, there's a piece of code that will run until this point. So it'll rerun all the calculations done by all the different pieces of code and will rerun them and replicate them. If they can't replicate them, they won't get on to the next step. And yeah. Then if you look at the source code, you would find a bunch of if statements because there's a big database of computers that basically it's a database of its past trades and it basically scores itself from 1 to 10 again. 10 being the best this time. And how it does that is that, let's just say, it needs to do 3% more. And let's just say the SMA it's really obvious. I mean, like, let's just say it's sold on a pullback. That means that it would get a score of a 3. But if it didn't listen at all, it would just, not even, it'll just fizzle out. But let's just say it scores itself by a 10. Well, then, all of a sudden now, it bought and sold at very, very good points, and it predicted it going down. So that's how it basically uses it, and it tries to get as high as possible. So it'll calculate just a bunch of different stuff. All right. Then that piece will be saved in the cache for later. There are 2 more pieces of code. That one runs a candle start. It basically runs a candle pattern code that basically looks for candles in their formations, like one really big candle with a small wick, a really small candle, and a doji. Let's just say it does that every single time it makes a bullish reversal. It'll look for that, and it'll try to get you in at a lower price, and this comes with risk, but if it does this enough, it's going to start to matter and push your price down even lower. All right, so then yeah, the most important part is the buy and sell plot code, which basically plots the buys and sell percentages, and it reads all the other data from all the other bots and basically says, I call them bots because they each run their individual code, but they're all the other different pieces of code, and takes that information and basically says, how probable is it to make this trade? If it doesn't have a 75%, if it doesn't have a 75% chance per win rate, it won't take it. Just because that's really dangerous. So you want a 75% chance of it going higher. So basically, this last bot is compiling all the data and reading it, and then running a probability formula that's on Thinkorswim. You can get this by going to the analyze page, and then you can see the probability curve, and it'll basically do that. But if you're on the 45-minute chart, it'll plot it on a shorter database. It'll plot it on a shorter base. I mean, it'll plot it on like a smaller chart that doesn't use all the data that like that TD Ameritrade would give you, because that would just make the bot slow, and sometimes it doesn't smooth out. So I put it on the 45-minute chart and set it for 10 days, basically. And then if everything else lines up, then it'll show a buy or sell signal. I know it's very complicated, but if you just read this, it really, really explains a lot. It really does. So this is the bot, and you can see market data. If I go to market data, you can see S&P 500, NASDAQ, Bitcoin, ProShares, Ultra US. I mean, this is TQQ, this is SQQ. TQQ, I mean, yeah, you can basically put in whatever ticker symbol, and it'll chart it on you. You get the 15 moving average, and I mean, wait, I should edit that. I think that it should be like 9. But look at technical analysis. This is just all TradingView. This isn't the bot. And then you have a watch list of pretty much everything that's pretty good. Pretty decent stuff. All right, support. It's not finished yet, but need help setting up. Driver list. By the way, you are going to need to download Python for this. If you don't know how to install Python, it's super easy. Just type in Python install, and then you're going to need Flash installed, and yeah, basically, pictures, base. You can see it's kind of choppy, especially right here. If we look right here, it's a buy, sell, and then a buy. Right here, it's just one solid buy. That's the more advanced that uses AI. And then contracts, you get all of this, and you can see it basically is 10% more accurate on average. But yeah, pretty decent stuff. All right. So if you want to get it, you can get it. it's not there yet, but you'll just go how to get it. And then way 2, so we have business contracts, personal contracts, more advanced, and base. And you basically just click on those, and I'm going to replace these. Right now, you just call me and you Venmo me money. And that'll just give you, it's really personal, but it's whatever. Also, these Doji candles that I have, these Doji candle indicators, indicates a volatility in the market. So these indicates the Doji candles, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically a potential market change, a market direction change. So yeah, a direction change. So like right here, boom, gives a doji candle, and then it goes down instead of a solid upward trend. Right here gives it told a sell signal, and then right after that there was a doji candle, and then there's it's an upward trend pattern. It comes right here. Then like a little bit after it started its upward trend. Right here it started its downward trend. Right here it started its upward trend. So how I go through a day and use all this information and bots and everything. I basically start my day off. I'm like, yo, let's see what's going on today. Put everything on the 45-minute chart. Use the Helsinki Ashi. Put on all my robots and stuff. And then I basically look for patterns. So this pattern is let's just say that, man, can I get it thicker? Okay. Boom. Let's just say I did that. Oh, I'm looking at an ascending triangle pattern right there. Boom. Bounces up. Boom, 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 boom. And let's see what happened after hours. It broke out. All right. So the bot does this automatically, but I just like to see it, so you can know when to sell. So I mean, you don't need to know when to sell, but I mean, you do, but you don't need to put in a limit order or a stop order, and that's kind of weird for a lot of people. But look at it's basically all the way up here now. I mean, like, geez, it's freaking insane. But it did its upward ascending triangle pattern. So let's just say I'm back here. A head and shoulders pattern. Did a head and shoulders pattern right there. Goes up there. And then it goes down. It goes right here. This is a channel pattern. This is a channel pattern. So basically do that. Support resistance stuff. But at the same point, I could have done this. I mean, it wasn't really an ascending triangle pattern, so I'm not going to put that in there. So this was also a channel pattern. This was a channel pattern, but this was a head and shoulders. I know it's kind of a wonky head and shoulders, but I just look for patterns in it. First, just to see what could possibly go on. And what possibly went on is pretty crazy stuff. All right, so that's what I go through. That's my first step of the day. Then I basically set my alerts. Do that by coming in here, create alert. Come over here, Apollo 2 bot. Apollo 2 bot, buy or sell. There's 2 for each. You're going to want to click this one. Send email, notify on app. All right, then Apollo 2 buy, create. Boom. Now it's right here, and every single time it crosses this up until this point, it's going to send me an alert. Now, I highly recommend you get the pro version of TradingView because it's honestly so much better. Please go hit me up, TradingView. But you can see that it's just freaking insane all the time. Apollo 2 buy. Right there, you literally do the same thing for the sell. Apollo 2, sell. And then you can also see things like direction change, doji candles, exiting channel, entering channel, outside channel, moving up, moving down, percentage moving up, crossing greater than. So, but I just like buy and sell. Boom, boom, boom. Apollo 2 sell. So you need to know like when to buy and sell. You're really going to need more alerts. So highly recommend get the pro version. All right. So thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, especially if you bought the bot or you're interested in getting the bot. this was just the very, very basic way of me telling you this is a good bot. All right, and how to use it. If it's kind of confusing, leave a comment in the description. I will get back to you pretty much for a long time until this bot becomes irrelevant to me, which is going to be a long time because I use it every single day. So, see you later.